I just want to share something. Perhaps someone's going through a hard time, um, and that could be like in any way. But I want to share a verse and a small story with it. So there's like 2 Corinthians 12, 9. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness." Um, I didn't know that was an actual verse until like 5 minutes ago. But I find it interesting because about 2 years ago, um, we were in the hospital with my wife was like about to give birth, and we wanted it naturally to be a very nice birth, very calm and just good. But it wasn't. The hospital staff was very rude. They kept ignoring like my wife. They weren't coming and stuff. Basically, it got super stressful, and because they ignored us for so long, even though I continuously went to them and I was like, "You need to come like in here because something's wrong." Um, they were just talking, having a good time. They kept rolling their eyes every time I came to them. And anyway, so uh, when they eventually came, they saw something was wrong and they had to basically rush my wife, and it got super stressful super quick. They were like, "Oh, yeah, this is like the blood pressure is way too high. If we don't get the baby out now, they both could die." Um, because, yeah, it was getting really bad for everyone, like for my wife and my son. And yeah, obviously I speak some German, but it's like when this was happening, everyone's speaking very quick and rushing everyone along. I wasn't really getting to talk to my wife because they instantly were basically rolling her out of the room, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because I'm freaking out, you know. I'm like, I've wanted kids at the point I had wanted kids for so long, and then it just seemed all of a sudden like now you're talking like he might die. Like this is not cool. And I'm trying to keep my cool because I'm like, I gotta concentrate. I gotta do exactly what they're saying. Um, they take me to the place where I change and everything, and they said it depends on what happens, but basically at some certain point, if they seem like to say that it's well enough, you'll be allowed to come into the room as they're doing the delivery, like with the C-section. Um, so I change and stuff, and I go and I'm waiting, and the person was like, when they come out, you'll see them right there, and then they'll go into the operating room. So I was waiting and stuff basically, and as this moments are going by, I started like really freaking out, and I was like about to have a complete and total panic attack meltdown. Like I was gonna lose my mind because here we were, we came, and everything seemed to be normal. We were supposed to just have this birth, and then they were saying like my wife could die, and my son could die, and I'm sitting there like flashing all these things through my head. Like what the heck? Like seriously, this was not supposed to happen. This was just supposed to be something normal. And I was trying my absolute best not to cry just in case they came out because I needed to be strong for my wife in this moment. Um, so basically I'm about to lose it and I stop and I remember God. So I'm like, okay, cool. God, you really need to help me. Basically, I was like, I need you now. I cannot do this by myself. I need you to help me. Um, and then one of the only times I've ever heard him speak to me, like specifically speak to me, as soon as I said that, and I literally was on the verge of just a complete breakdown, he said, "My grace is sufficient," and I had an instant peace come over me, um, which was good until like after the C-section was completed and stuff. Anyway, so really horrible. Even afterwards or during it, they messed something up with my wife, and that stuff that they used to like numb you, it went all the way up to like her throat, like at the base, and they were like, "Oh crap, we did something too much. It was wrong." So they were trying to like keep touching her and stuff, like let me know if you can't feel this anymore. because they did too much. So if it had gone any higher, her throat would have stopped working or something, and she wouldn't have been breathing anymore. So that added stress, you know. Anyway, so a couple days goes by, and this was also during the Corona crap. So I ended up coming back when I was allowed to talk to my wife and stuff, and you know, she was talking and stuff, and she cried a little bit, and she's like, that was very unpleasant. It was not supposed to go this way. That's not what we wanted. But she was like, I was in such severe pain and I felt so excessively horrible. I mean, birth, obviously, yeah, but like this was a little different. But they were like, or she was like, yeah, it's actually good that I had the C-section because she said, I don't know how much longer I could have gone, um, like through with that. And, you know, I told her then what happened with me, like when I was praying, and that's what I was told. Um, so while it was not ideal, it was a gift from God to grant us this, like, event in the way that it was. At the moment, it seemed completely horrible, out of control, and it was going to be so bad. But I am glad that in that moment I remembered God and I asked Him for help, and He gave me peace. Um, so I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't forget about God. God's watching you, and um, He's always at work. And while you might not see it right now, it could be later on, even if it's not in a few days or a few hours. It could be a year or two from now, or even longer. At some point, you might look back and remember that situation that you thought was so tough, and you'll remember that God was there for you, and He's always there for you. Don't put God on the back burner or Jesus or anything like that. Always remember them, no matter what happens. Try and stay positive and remember them and call on them. God is there for you. All right.